I found this PC on a bargain deal here in my area for 1,000 pesos or 20 US dollars. It is irresistible to pass on this rare deal, so I grabbed the opportunity to buy it. When I opened the case, it was dirty, so before I cleaned this PC, I turned it on first to see if it has some issues. Well, it boot up and still running Windows XP. It is nostalgic to see this Windows XP logo on the screen. When I arrive on the desktop, this PC has a custom welcome sound.
Philadelphia uplink successful. Welcome back, Commander.
And I think the previous owner was fond of using Camprog.
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
I also noticed that there are a lot of customization done on the desktop. I think that the previous owner is some sort of a techie person. Anyway, the PC is running fine and responsive, but when I try Google Chrome and Internet Explorer, I kept getting these errors. Well, I did not spend more time because I will put SSD in this system and install Windows 10. After that, I shut it down and I noticed this custom Windows sound in shutting down. Enough with this curiosity, let's turn this into a gaming PC. Before I will identify the components, I will took the parts out for cleaning. Well, this PC is not that dirty compared to what I've seen in other PCs that I cleaned. But this case deserved this. And this. The other components like the hard disk drive, the CD-ROM, and the front panel, I will just wipe and brush the dirt. Now on the processor. As you can see, the thermal paste is already dry. Anyway, this is easy. I will just use baby wipes to clean this up. And disassemble this cooler to access the back of the fan for cleaning. And remove the dust on the heatsink. Don't worry, I will let this dry up before I install it again. The processor of this system is the Intel Pentium G620. It has 2 cores and 2 threads with 2.6 GHz and 65 watt TDP. This processor was launched in second quarter of 2011 and it is on LGA 1155 socket. This system has 2 gigs of 1333 MHz of DDR3 RAM from Kingston and 320 gigs Western Digital Blue hard disk drive. The motherboard of this system is the Asus P8H61-M LX, which has 1155 socket and compatible to second and third generation of Intel Core i series processor. This motherboard has 2 RAM slots that can support up to 1033 MHz of DDR3 RAM and integrated graphics that can support up to 2048 by 1536 at 75Hz resolution. It seems that we can upgrade this PC into 3rd generation Intel processor that's still good for gaming. Well, not today. My goal for this build is not to cost a lot and can game at 720p resolution. Now the upgrades that I will do with this PC is first by adding 2 gigs of RAM that cost 300 pesos or $6 US with the same speed and brand to make sure the timings are the same to ensure that it would run without issues. And now this PC has 4 gigs of RAM in total. Another upgrade that I will do is adding 120 gigs Kingston A400 SSD that costs 1,200 pesos or 24 US dollars. This is for boot and running Windows 10 as my operating system to avoid program incompatibility. Anyway, there are SSD in the market right now that only cost 1,000 pesos or 20 US dollars. But since I have this SSD on hand, I will use this instead. If you want to replicate this build, you have the option to buy that instead. Now the vital upgrade that I will do is adding graphics card, which I purchased used in Facebook Market for 1,800 pesos or 36 US dollars on a bargain deal. This graphics card is the GTX 750, the non-TI version from Galaxy that is now known as Galax. This is a single slot graphics card with 512 CUDA cores and 1 gig of GDDR5 clock at 5 GHz VRAM. Well, let's see how this system costs in total. Now let's reassemble this PC and see its gaming performance. Reassembling this PC is okay, but cable managing it gave me a hard time because front panel connectors are short and the room at the back of the case is very small for the PSU wire to route on. In testing games, I will set it to 720p resolution in low settings. I felt it was best for this setup considering that our graphics card has only 1 gig of VRAM and our CPU has only 2 cores and 2 threads. So let's fire up some games. I tested these games that runs on emulator, which are PUBG Mobile and Call of Duty Mobile. Well, the games run, but sadly, it's not that great, or shall we say not competitive, because it stutters a lot even without recording. Just an info, recording game like using OBS and Xbox Game Capture really strain the CPU's usage, so if the CPU is not that powerful, it really affects the system performance, especially in games. Another game that did not run well and I consider not playable is Fortnite. I consider this game not playable because of the structures that are not fully rendered. And this is vital because in there, you'll get weapons and materials that were needed to be competitive. I also tested GTA 5. Well, the game ran, but sometimes it stutters. Anyway, for me, it's manageable. Another issue that I noticed is that there are these rendering delays on the road. Well, it's up to you if this is tolerable. In addition, those were the games that I think experienced many issues in running on this system. On CSGO, the game was running fine and the FPS is hovering around 27 to 42 FPS. It depends on the location in the map, and my estimate the average FPS is 33, which I think it is still playable but not on a competitive level. On Valorant, the game was running fine but on the recording it stutters. But on the actual game, there are little stutters. But when I stopped recording the game, it was very playable, no more stutters at all. Just observe the data on the upper left corner on your screen. On the following games that I will show are all running fine, without issues and playable. And also, observe the data on the upper left corner on the screen and see for yourself the performance of these games in running on this system.
Invisibility? Yes. Is that it? Absolutely. Fear the moon. This will hurt.
price of this PC might not be realistic to everyone, especially here in my area that H61 motherboard still cost around 1,500 pesos to 1,800 pesos. That's about 25 to 30 US dollars. And 320 gigs of hard disk drive still costs around 350 to 500 pesos. That's about $5. However, there are these rare deals that you can find in the used market where the seller just wanted to get rid of their stuff because they don't want it anymore or they have a new one. Anyway, in this video, I want you my viewers to know that there are these rare deals happening in the used market. It's just a matter of luck on how to find it. And when you found it, you can just do some small upgrades and you can run some games like this one. And also, I want you to see how this Intel Pentium G620 performs on games paired with GTX 750. I want to give an idea that you can still run games on 4 gigs of RAM. I have plans for this build in the future. So if you want more contents like this, please support my channel by clicking the sub button and the bell icon to notify you on my next video. So see you on the next one.